Hi, everybody. My name is Riccardo Sai. I'm here today with Marianne Hartley, and we are live on different platforms. So you can see this video on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So, Marianne, lovely to have you here. I'm really excited to have a chat with you about, we'll reveal in a few seconds what we're going to talk about. So, Marianne, a few words about you and who you are.
Thank you, Riccardo. Thank you for inviting me to this live. It's a real pleasure to be here. So I'm Marianne Hartley, the founder of Hartley & Soul Branding and Design Agency. And we create irresistible brands that capture all your senses and leave you feeling connected to the heart.
Great. That's a great pitch already. I like it. So, Marianne, you, we recently had a chat, and you told me that you wrote a book, which I bought straight away the day after we had a chat, and I absolutely loved it. I have a copy here. So it's called Align and Shine. And then recently we reconnected, and we were talking about the possibility of doing a live together, because there's a lot of things that we have in common. And so while we were talking about the theme to explore, it just came to my mind one of the chapters of your book, which is aligning your brand with your heart, which is actually the title of this talk that we're gonna do today. But before we talk about the theme, can you just briefly just mention what is your book about? Because it's a very interesting book that talks about branding, but from a very interesting perspective. So just briefly, what is your book about?
Yes, thank you. So Align and Shine is gain an unshakable foundation to build your legacy brand. The book is really the methodology that I've developed over the years that I take my clients through, and the questions I ask them to create this foundation before I do any of the designs. So it's really, in order to create a brand that stands out, that really stands for the vision and values of a business and a person, I ask a series of questions that really is like a deep dive into the essence, into the heart of the business and the person. So the book is structured in 3 parts. And there's the first part, which is the logical part, which is linked to the left brain. And the second part is more the intuitive part, and the part that connects to our right brain. And then the third part is about bringing all the pieces together. And I found that when we ask these deep questions, it really brings depth and solidity to a brand. And also it allows the company to attract the right people, the right clients, and the right employees, because they resonate and they feel aligned with the brand just by looking at it.
Great. I forgot to mention who I am. So this is only the 3rd live that I've done, so I'm still learning from my mistakes. Anyway, so my name is Riccardo Sai, as you probably know, and I'm a photographer, filmmaker, and I'm the founder of a visual storytelling studio called Storo. Anyway, sorry about that. And by the way, if you have any questions, if you're watching this video on replay, feel free to ask any questions to myself or to Marianne, and we'll reply as soon as we can. So so the theme of this dialogue that we're having today is about how to align your brand with your heart, which is, as I said before, is the title of one of the chapters of your book, which is probably one of my favorites chapter of the book. Just maybe one of the shortest one, but really profound as well. And so I wanted to ask you what what you mean with aligning your brand with your heart. But first of all, as I did in the other two lives that I did recently, I just wanted to start with a definition of aligning, because I think it's always a good starting point. So I'm lucky because I'm Italian, so I used to study. I did study Latin when I was at school. So I mean it's come in handy a few decades after my studies. So align actually it comes from Latin, from a Latin word which is a lineare, which means reduced to a straight line. So there's that idea that between your brand and your heart, there's just one line, and which I really like it, But so I wanted to ask you, considering this definition, and I don't know if you agree or if you don't agree, but so why do you think is important? First of all, what do you mean with aligning your brand with your heart, and also why do you think it's important?
Thanks. So what I mean with aligning our brand with our heart is that sometimes we can have an idea in our head about what, say, the business or the company or what our product is about. And it's an idea that is literally just in our mind. And that's great. It's a perfect starting point. But often when the heart has another level of wisdom or of information that we can't access through thinking alone. So in our heart, we have our biggest dreams, we have the vision that we hold for the world, we have the vision that we hold for our life, we have the desires, it's sort of all big sort of thinking, and it's also all our feeling that are obviously in our heart. And when we can align the thinking, the thought, and the feeling in our heart, it becomes really, really powerful, and it's a more complete picture. Because, for example, if it was just about connecting to the dream, we also need the logic. We need logic and inspiration to make something viable and create a real impact. So so aligning with the heart is about listening to this sort of bigger vision, the big dreams that we have, the sort of something that may seem unreachable to start with, but by naming it, we feel very much alive, and we feel like, yes, this is really, I want my company to make a positive difference in this area of life or this area of business, or transform this part of the world. So we hold the big dreams and visions in our heart, and when our brand can align with that vision, then it becomes an attractor for other people who resonate and feel a connection with that big dream and big vision. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just going to jump in with something, because I did last week another very interesting live with Andrew about purpose. So we talked about purpose and about your why as well, which obviously Simon Sinek came up with. So it seems to me like heart is something even bigger than that. Or what is it? So how does that relate to your why or to your purpose?
Your purpose and your why definitely, are in your heart. But it's like, it's true. The heart holds a big vision, and it's definitely a vision beyond just our financial gain, or it's the vision beyond money. It's, of course, we want to have an incredibly successful business, but it's not just about having a successful business. It's about impacting others. It's about making our own life better. It's about making other people's lives better. And it's really about, creating a ripple effect that is bigger than we are ourselves. And so the purpose absolutely is connected to the heart, and the why is absolutely connected to the heart. And when we sort of connect with the heart, it gives us, that's also where we connect to our intuition, and which is not linear and not logical, but absolutely gets us into alignment with our true self, and also the impact that we want to have with our business and our products in the world. So yes, it is. The heart holds. I'd sort of say it holds the vision for the world. It's bigger than just the impact that we want to have.
Yeah. No, very, very interesting. No, I really like that. And why do you think it's important to have that kind of alignment between your heart and your brand?
What I've noticed, it just makes everything more powerful. So we might think that we are, very logical buyers, or that we buy things because we need them, or that we take action out of logic. But actually, we're not. We are emotional buyers, but we also connect with brands and people who have a message that we feel a connection with. So by being clear on what that message is when you create your brand, you then allow other people to connect with this same vision and the same energy from a heart level. So, and there's also, some studies are made around the energy field of the heart, which that's not something I specifically talk about in the book, but how impactful if you believe in the energetic field of things, and I believe, everything is an energetic expression. So even solid things. So your brand has an energy about it, and the message that you convey with it is energy. And the heart has a real incredible large span of connection. So by connecting your brand to the heart, it then increases or amplifies this heart connection that you can have with others.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I totally relate with that. And it just almost seems like the way you talk about brands is almost like you're talking about a creature, something quite organic and alive. So, and I think in the past,
absolutely,
a lot of time when we talked about brand or branding, we thought about, brand, it was more about the logo. So a brand is a logo. So Coca-Cola is a brand, but it's a logo, and everybody knows Coca-Cola. But it's interesting. It's just what you're saying is like it's much more interesting, I think. So it's almost like it's an evolution of the concept of brand, perhaps. I don't know, but I find it really fascinating the way you talk about branding. Just I don't know, much more modern and interesting as well. So, but I think people are also ready.
Yeah, I think in the past there probably was like a separation. This is my business, or this is my company, this is my brand, and I'm here. And there's a separation. But actually, if our values aren't in sync or aligned, if our company's values are one set of values and our own values are another, there's a mismatch and a misalignment. So there's that. It's like you're always walking with with a stone in your shoe. You know, something's holding you back and doesn't allow you to fully flow and also have a fuller impact. Whereas when I talk about creating brands from the inside out, which is really, you know, about defining the values and the vision and your why and the purpose, and through the connection with the heart, that becomes an inside out approach to branding. So it is like a living entity, and it is it has its own life, but it's not separate from you. So it is an expression of who you are being and what the company is here to create, and the people they're here to serve, and the impact that the brand is here to have.
Yeah. Yes, it's very interesting. I mean, I also think that somehow, when you're dealing with a small brands, like a solopreneur type of brand, I do quite a lot of personal branding photo shoots for entrepreneurs, for example, and we talk about storytelling, so authentic storytelling, and so there is an alignment between who is the entrepreneur and what is the brand. But I think these also, I mean, of course, it's a bit different for bigger brands, but I'm pretty sure this applies also for medium-sized or larger brands. Of course, you know, they're global brands. So there's, so then you need to start thinking about culture, perhaps, rather than. But I think, you know, I like the idea that you also bigger brands can have a heart, and if they can align
Absolutely.
that with their values, that's magic, I think. No, what do you think?
Yeah, and when that vision and the heart expression is clearly defined, everyone within the organization or the company can align again, can find their way to fit in with the vision. But when there's no big vision, people are sort of doing a job, if you like. But when the vision is clear, then everyone can participate and find their way of contributing. And it's much more inspiring, it's much more fulfilling. You're not just doing a job, but you're actually contributing to creating something that's bigger than yourself.
So I do believe every brand should have a purpose, should have a heart, or maybe not. I don't know. What do you think, Marianne? Do you think more brands should really think about that? Or does this apply to all the brands or not? I don't know. I think
it's a
so,
great
but
question.
I don't know.
I mean, I believe so, because if there's the connection with the heart, when there's the connection with the heart, everything is much simpler and easier, actually, and everything it just flows, because it's you know, it's aligned to use that word again. But it's when it's not connected with the heart, then there is this disconnect, and then you have to work hard at it. When the brand is a reflection of the heart, then it's people can just show up. The owner of the business can show up, and the brand is literally an expression of the vision and the values of the business, and the brand becomes a real support. Whereas when it's not connected with the heart, I believe it's not as fulfilling for anyone who's contributing. So, and I don't see why any brands would not want to, you know, make work more meaningful, make their contribution more fun and more fulfilling. And when it is connected to the heart, there's an expansive energy that comes with it.
I agree with you, but maybe this is something that we can open up to our audience. So I don't know what you think about that. And do you think all brands should have a heart? Just feel free to say share with us in the comments what you think.
We can do a poll.
Yeah, exactly. We could do a poll, perhaps. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The other thing also I was curious about is also, what about your brand, Marianne? Because how does your brand align with your heart?
Yeah, so I love that
I
you
bet it
asked
does.
this question. Say again.
I bet it does align with your heart, but I'm interested. I'm
Yeah.
intrigued, actually.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, the reason why I set up Hartley and Soul 9 years ago now was to bring two of my passions together, to bring design and energy healing together. And at the heart of my brand is connection and beauty. And when we look at something beautiful, it has this effect of connecting us with ourselves, but also with something bigger. So whether it's beauty in nature, whether it's beauty in a work of art or a beautiful movie or a beautiful photograph, or things that, things we surround ourselves with on a daily basis have an impact on how we feel. And for me, at the heart of my own brand, well, with the name Hartley and Soul, heart is at the heart of my own brand, but connection and this, what I sometimes call healing design. It's this sense of when we look at something beautiful, it has a healing effect on us and a way of connecting us to ourselves, and then also to allow us to connect with each other. Yeah. So that was the motivation with setting up Hartley and Soul. But I'm curious as well, Riccardo, you set up Storo to tell visual stories, and tell me how or when you decided to set up Storo, or what was your motivation, and how do you connect to the heart of a project?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's very yeah, it's of course there's a personal reason, so for that decision. So I've been working in advertising for a number of years. I've worked with the biggest brands. I work with Nike, with Microsoft, and Lenovo, and a few others. So proud of every single project I did. But I was looking for something different. I was looking for to connect with brands that really resonated with me and that were really actively trying to make a difference on the world. And so that search led me to really kind of embrace stories, because stories are all about transformation, are about change. So for me, a brand that wants to change something on the world, the part of their culture and their values is to make a positive impact on the world. Somehow they need to embrace stories to do that. And so there is an inner power in storytelling, which I think especially impact brands, I think they should really embrace. So that kind of journey, that's the journey that I took, and led me to really connect my passion and my skills in storytelling. So mainly my experience in creating photography and films, any type of films, and so to bring that experience to this brand, they need to communicate, and they want to make a bigger impact. They understand the power of storytelling, and somehow empowering them with the tools that I know how to use to achieve that. So that led me to create Storo, which is there's a story, of course, behind the name, because Storo It's I mean, as you can tell, I'm Italian, but Storo is it's a small village in the Dolomites in the north of Italy where my family is from. And it's I haven't been back in a few years because of the pandemic and because of many other reasons. But it's a village that it's got an incredible wisdom and an incredible stories as well to tell. And of course, it's a village that my roots are from that village, and it's a beautiful old village. The house of my family is, I think, it's 600 years old. So every time I walk in, I can breathe the stories of their house, all the people that lived in their house. So for me, choosing that name as the name of my company, it just made sense, made perfect sense. And on top of that, Storo is very similar to story, which is this is what I do visually. So it was kind of a win-win situation where I didn't have any other options really. So that's so that's the story of how I came up with this name. So I'm not sure if I answer all your questions, but anyway, this is.
Well, it sounds like you chose the name. Actually, that's a name that totally connects you to your heart and your roots, and something that's unique to you. So you can tell stories by you connecting to your ancestors and your heritage in a sense. And I imagine that helps you as well to connect to the heart of the brands and the stories that you then visually translate for your clients.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's very fascinating creating a brand, because I mean, I've been through all the rebranding process and with a couple of colleagues, and it's been a very emotional journey in many ways. Which is I wasn't expecting it. So yeah. So another thing I wanted to ask you, Marianne, which is there's one section of that chapter of your book where you write this: creating outcomes that didn't exist before cannot come from old data. If we want to create something new, we need to create from the unseen and the unknown. Can you explain how, in your opinion, as an entrepreneur, can embrace the fear of the unknown? Because it's a very scary world for brands in general, for startups, and for entrepreneurs who doesn't matter, I think, at what stage they are of their business, but it can be difficult. So what do you think about that?
So that I wrote this thinking of all the inventions that have been created. So if you think of the first bicycle, the first light bulb, the first airplane, these things didn't exist before, right? And the unknown is like a field of possibilities. And the way we connect with this field is through intuition. And again, not through the head necessarily, but through something like, sometimes you have a hunch, or you have this feeling for something, and it doesn't make it's not logical, it doesn't make rational sense, but you feel it's right, or you have this inner knowing that yes, this is right, even if it's not logical, and other people may say to you, no, that's not going to work, but you feel it in really intimately in your gut. And creating something new comes from this space of the unknown and the invisible as well, and this field of possibilities. So, and I think one of the fears is making mistakes, obviously, when we go into this field of unknown. If like many of us, we have a perfectionist streak and we want to get it right and we want it to work straight away. But actually, if we can approach it as like exploring and testing. And this is one thing I love about the Dyson brand. Basically, he only employs people who are willing to make mistakes, and the more mistakes they make, the more innovative they are, right? So,
oh, really?
If we can embrace, like, maybe it's just like a reframe of making mistakes. If we don't see mistakes as a mistake, but actually just a way of getting closer to a solution, then we can all be bolder and try out things that we would never try before, if we want it to be right the very first time we do it. Because if we want something to work and be right straight away, that will probably be something we've explored or tried before. So, if we're going to approach this unknown in a more like with an open mind, and also as a field of exploration, then it becomes a really fruitful and expansive space where anything is possible.
Beautiful. Yeah, this is quite empowering, I think. I really hope entrepreneurs are watching this, because I think it's so simple and but so profound as well and it's also quite empowering, I think, because if you shift your perspective, and if you look at the unknown as or also at the fear of making mistakes, actually. Because I don't think you can reject the fact that there is fear and that there is the unknown, but it's also how you deal with that that kind of change of perspective that makes a difference, I think. So it's I don't know what people who are watching think about that, but that's a great, really great topic, I think. So, and I think it doesn't matter also at what stage you are with your brands. If you are at a startup stage, or if you are restructuring internally your brand, or if you decided to offer different services, perhaps there would always be that kind of fear. We just have to learn how to deal with that.
Yeah, and I think it's connected with growth as well, or change. As soon as we create something new, it's something that wasn't there before. So a certain fear will be present, and that's to be accepted, rather than not to wait till the fear's gone, because we can wait forever then.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So we're coming to the end of this chat. Is there anything you wanted to add, Marianne? Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, just to explore, to enjoy this exploration into, really the connection with the heart. And that I wish all entrepreneurs and business owners for their brand to really capture the essence of who they are being, and the essence of the vision that they're here to create. So the brand can be a real support and a real, you can be there as like we said, a living entity to support you along the journey.
Yeah. Also, just to wrap up, I wanted to say something which I find it really, I never heard anyone really talking about brands I would dare to say, in spiritual terms, as you, or in energetic terms as you are, which really resonate with me, because I'm a Buddhist, so I believe in energies. I believe in the law of cause of effect, etc., etc. But just thinking about brands as a living entity, and as energy, I don't know. For me, it's just very, very interesting and very a very new concept, I would say. So. But what do you think? Is that? I guess that's part of who you are, isn't it? Does that reflect? What do you think about that? Is that?
Yeah, that's a total reflection of what I believe, and because I do think that everything has an energy, and when we can consciously create something with the intention for the brand, for the film, for the photograph to have a positive impact, that energy is imprinted within the creation, and that we can unconsciously pick it up. And again, I believe that everything is connected. So there's the connection with the outside, the inside. How we feel has an impact on our surrounding, and what's happening in our surrounding has an impact on us. And it's like we're in constant communication with people, with things, and but it's energetic. So on an energy level, we are always connected and communicating. We're not separate. And and I think that's why I'm so passionate about creating brands that are a true reflection of the inner values, because it then has the possibility to impact a wider audience.
Beautiful. I wish I could clap. Actually, I am clapping. No, that's really, really interesting, Marianne. So thank you so much, Marianne. It's been really enlightening. I've learned a lot, and myself as well. I will replay this live and take some notes and take some actions based on that, because it's really fascinating. So thank you so much, Marianne. So people can find out about me, I would say mainly through LinkedIn, Riccardo Sai, Riccardo with double C. You can find me there. I write every week. And my website, my Storo website is not launched yet. So if you want to find out more about the film and the photography that I did in the past, you can go to mrsai.uk. And what about you, Marianne? How can people find out about you and the book as well?
Connecting on LinkedIn, Marianne Hartley, or the Hartley and Soul LinkedIn page. And if you're interested in purchasing the book, it's available on Amazon, so Align and Shine, and also on Instagram, Hartley and Soul. They're the 3 places that are best to connect with me. And thank you very much for inviting me for this conversation, Riccardo.
It's been a real pleasure, and thank you for everybody who's been listening or watching this video. And see you the next time.